This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. Try Squarespace at squarespace.com and enter offer code KINDOFFUNNY at checkout to get 10% off. That's one word, kinda funny. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
You
did a little bit of the Prince, but you didn't do the.
I didn't do the voice.
Thank you.
That's the voice for
You
you.
made my day.
That was
Glad you're
really
back from
loud
LA.
and boisterous.
Yeah, we came back from LA. Tim and I went down there for a day, which felt like when you do a production day and it starts at 4 o'clock in the morning and you get on a plane, it feels like 4 days.
Yeah.
So,
I know it.
It was fun though, man.
Yeah.
It was.
We
really
met
cool.
a girl that's dating. Well, we're not sure if she's dating, but she's seeing this guy that is Prince. Actually, he is Prince.
He's Prince or he's a Prince.
We met a diverse group of people yesterday at this game show that we did on Buzzer.
Yeah.
We did the Buzzer celebrity name game, and two of the girls that were a competing team, one of whom has a boyfriend who looks like a young Prince from like 1989 maybe.
So like
88.
even like Purple Rainish kind of.
Like definitely Purple Rain, like motorcycle, like the big ass Honda motorcycle. Everything's purple. Skin's perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
She described him as perfect.
Okay.
And then she showed us a picture, and Tim and I were like,
Yeah,
He's
I was like,
perfect.
That is
describe
the
him in
best word to
3
describe
words,
this man.
and her 3 words were literally just perfect. I'm like, that's 2 words. She's like, doesn't matter.
I don't need the third word.
Yeah.
Damn.
doesn't need it.
Over
And
here,
then
the
did you-
Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Hello. I was just curious. Did you do the Prince sound for her when she said?
You know, I did not. I was a little tired toward the end of the day when she showed me the picture. And I was just like, I just want to get through this. It was a fun shoot, but after 9 hours of sitting and applauding, you don't want to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Luckily, they had goldfish, Greg.
The cracker.
The cracker.
Oh, nice.
Of which I
get
ate
any
3
of them?
bags. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get any other real food or no?
Yeah, they had like a nice little spread for us.
They
It
had
was
a
nice.
craft services
I had
going
like
on
2 ravioli and some chicken. It was really good.
It was a
Okay.
thing.
I'm glad that you let your hair down and had some pasta.
Well, you got to keep up the energy, Greg.
Yeah.
If you want to
carbo
bring,
loading.
if you want to bring
2
the
ravioli
fury.
to carbo load.
Me and Lance Armstrong, we subscribe to the same notion: steroids.
And over there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
Hello. I never thought I'd be on a game show. I always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim,
It was
that's
cool.
like the perfect environment for you, by the way.
It was great.
You
Oh,
thrive.
you can't tell us if you won, right? When's your episode?
Yeah,
go
we're
up?
not gonna spoil it, but I will say that me and Nick had a lot of fun, and we killed
We
it.
did a good job.
We did
It's
good.
a fucking great job.
And
But you lost.
We did. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm not. We might win. You should watch and
Sorry,
find
I didn't mean
out.
to spoil it.
But it was great.
I heard they won.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I can say that we did win. At least some of it.
I can
Okay.
definitely say we're not losers.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
I can
losers.
say that
There
for-
were some
definitively.
losers.
You can
They weren't
definitively say
us.
that about them?
But yeah, no, it was really a fun experience. It was really cool, and it's really nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
can
it's
only
like
imagine.
Yeah.
there's just an audience and shit, and you're playing a game, and it's like,
Wait, there was like a live audience?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's like when you don't know an answer to something that you know you should know, you just
Yeah, I got-
and you get really bad.
I
But it was
had-
awesome. Our topics were really perfect for us. We got lucky enough that 2 of our topics were
Oh, are you allowed to spoil this?
probably I mean, this isn't really spoiling anything.
All right,
It's
everybody
just
watch
like-
Buzzer Games whenever the hell this thing's on.
but like Disney characters and
Yeah.
YouTubers, and I'm like, we got this.
Yeah, it was
There's
pretty,
one
it was
thing
pretty
I know.
You
No.
didn't win that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
so-
go.
We
that
we
stuff
wreck
was
shop
cool.
on both of those. It is fascinating though when if we're just sitting here like I don't get nervous with this podcast anymore. I did maybe the first like few episodes, but after a while you just kind of you work into it.
Yeah. You realize you're in a spare bedroom and nothing matters.
Yeah, and then Kevin came and it was like he laughs at everything I say anyway, so it gives me like the confidence to keep going on with my life instead
Yeah.
of just
There he is, giving the thumbs up.
there you go, Kevin. But when there's people, and the other thing is we have a lively like fun environment where like we just do stupid things. We throw things at Kevin. Kevin gets up. He's knocking Kevin. Like there's not a day that goes by that Kevin doesn't almost trip over something and end all of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's very
But-
true. Every day he almost kills himself. in
Almost kills himself. But when you're in when they're trying to be as professional as possible, it is quiet in there.
Yeah.
And so you'll say something, and if no one laughs, it is like soul crushing. So when you're sitting there with your hand above a buzzer and they ask you the question, like a question that on any other Sunday that you would know the answer to, your brain goes gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just it taught me that I got to train a little bit more mentally for these competitions going into it, because my mental side of the game was not.
The mental side of the game was off, but no other side of Nick Scarpino was off. Let me tell you guys. Oh my god!
So his physical side.
They
was
asked
on.
us what we do. They were like, "So, what's this kind of funny thing? What do you guys do?" And I think it was either me or you were like, "We're a Fast and Furious fan site.
Fan site. We just come up with fan
specifically just talk about
fiction.
Fast and Furious."
That's all we do.
And the Screen Junkie guys are like, "Really?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
I honestly think that was the best joke made all day. Like, that won the audience over. People were super into it. They're like, well, what? Because everyone else, that's the funny thing about YouTube is everyone's so humble about it and just like, oh, this is dumb. Like we just do this stupid thing. I don't know why it works, including us.
Yeah.
But whenever people are like, oh, what do you do? They're like, oh, we make comedy videos, I guess. And it's like, I was like, we can't do that, Nick. We can't be the same people.
Tim's over in the
up
corner
there.
strategizing.
Yeah,
Of course,
like,
that's what he does.
Let's
He's
go
a
up there.
schemer.
We'll talk about, we rank Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Anyways, good to
I will tell you that I was on a game show once.
Really?
There was a game show on Long Island for high school kids called the Long Island Challenge. And
Is this like Boy Meets World? That one episode?
I don't know that episode.
Thought you- I thought
I'm
you-
sorry. I'm not quite
want
as
The team of
encyclopedic.
3, right?
Here's
They
the
went on
deal.
like that.
Here's the deal. Before you tell the rest of the story, tell. Okay, I'm good because I'm remembering this for the animated show.
Okay.
It's like this is gonna be an episode.
So you had
I
to
can
switch
tell.
on the
I
remember.
had to switch on
And-
the recorder.
I don't remember why. So Long Island Challenge is like a pretty.
Long Island
It's a pretty funny show. It's on like News. It's on News 12, and it's like high school kids like go and compete in these academic things. And I wasn't on that. We copied it.
Yeah.
I think it was a way to figure out who was going to go, like to represent our school, Bellport High School. And I was on a team for the 9th graders, and we went against the 10th graders in like kind of a round robin kind of thing. And all I remember about it is that I did really well for my team, and that the final question that we won on was the answer was Slobodan Milosevic.
Did you
And
get
I was
that?
the one who got it.
No.
And I don't know if you guys
way.
remember him. He was like the Serbian president, and he was like tried by like the War Crimes Committee for like genocide against the Bosnians or whatever.
You remember this, Tim?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very familiar.
It was
with this.
in the late
What was
90s.
his
it
name
was-
again, Tim?
Huh?
What was his name again? The name he got there?
Bangladesh?
Yes.
Yep, Bangladesh. Bangladesh who was tried for war crimes. But in the late 90s, that was the Serbian conflict, like Bosnia and all that was like a big deal. And so I remember getting that, and that was a really proud moment for me.
What'd you win? Trophy?
I don't even remember.
Scholarship?
I don't even remember. I don't remember anything
Like
else. I remember
Mickey
being
D's?
really nervous because we had to do it in an auditorium in front of the entire high school.
I would be. See, that's the other thing too. Is like I started after like 6 hours. I started stumbling over my words. So even like the name Christian Bale wasn't coming out right. I was like Christian Bale, and you're like,
Oh.
what?
This is the funny thing. I don't even think it's not spoiling it because it's game show.
You guys have already told us half the show, so
no,
now
there's-
we're
there's-
telling us
there's
Did you win? Just tell us if you won.
There's so much to this show. But like one of the sections was literally this dude trying to get Nick to say Christian Bale. And he's like, it's Batman. And
That's
This
by
is,
the
like,
way.
the perfect
The only
question.
clue he gave me was this. He played Batman.
And then
And I'm
Nick
like-
goes, oh, no, he just said Batman. And he go, Bruce Wayne. No. Michael Keaton. No. He's going. And he's like, no, the newest one.
And I'm
you
like,
were
Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Ben Affleck.
And he's
it
like,
was
no,
just-
the one right before that. And I was like, what the fuck? And then my brain was like, it just kept coming back to Val Kilmer. And
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why.
So he said Val Kilmer, and it just kept going. And then at some point, he's like, "Which one? And he said that he's at the 99 Batman. He was talking about George Clooney, which is not 99. But he goes, the 99 one, and Nick thinks he says 89.
I thought he said
Nick
89.
gets
I was like,
fucking
Keaton.
furious.
I was like,
it's Keaton. Keaton is the 89 Batman.
99. I'm like, yeah, 89. Wait, 99? I was like, oh, George Clooney. And he goes, yeah, ding, and it went.
It was so
And it was like,
funny.
but it was one of those where I was like, we should have passed on this question a really long time ago. But I was like, don't fucking pass on this.
Yeah,
I'm
we
getting
got
this.
this.
I cannot.
Yeah, you can't go on the
leave this
internet and get a
show
Batman
without
question wrong.
So I nailed all those, and we had a couple Avengers questions that it was one that was so easy, it stumped me.
The Avengers?
Yeah, it
Lay
was
on
one
me.
of. It's too easy. It's too easy.
Hawkeye.
It's
No.
not easy.
They
This is
said
a
this. They
confusing
said
one.
that it starts off with like, this guy's an actor. He's played the Hulk.
Oh, well, I just fucked up. It could have been a million different questions.
That's the problem.
Eric
so
Bana.
No, that's the fucking problem. I hit it. My brain immediately was like this. It's got to be Ed Norton. Got to be Ed Norton. Because that's fucking relevant today. Mark Ruffalo is going to be
Who's
in
starring
10
in a
movies as the
Batman, or
Hulk.
starring in an Avengers movie
It's
right now.
currently out, almost in theaters, actually. Probably when does it come out? This weekend?
It's out in theaters.
It's out in theaters now. And so the girl opposite goes, Mark.
Mark.
And then we stare at each other because I'm like this. It's clearly Mark Bana. That's not his name.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there looking at Nick. I'm like, I see him crumbling. I see all this happening.
No. I'm like, if I lose this
Ruffalo,
question,
dude.
I have to quit everything I do and go be an accountant.
Yeah.
And then it popped. I was like, I backed into it. I was like this. It's sort of like a chip. It's not a Dorito. It's a Ruffle. It's a Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
But it was like 5 minutes. They're
Yeah.
like, the judge is like, is one of you fucking assholes gonna answer?
It was great, man. It was
Your
a
brain
real
just
fun
doesn't
experience.
work, man. And then all this fun, quippy repart, like all the rapport that we have, out the window.
Yeah.
You're like in it to win it.
Yeah.
You're like in a circle. There's a light on you, and you're like, okay, this person is a Disney princess. She may not wear panties. And you're like, Rapunzel, great.
Yeah,
You know, like,
exactly. There was some moments though, like there was some real genuine, like Tim and Nick, this show moments where it's like there was some Fast and Furious characters that came up and stuff, and like it was just like Fast and Furious, and like Nick, The Rock was one of them, and instead of saying WWE Superstar into that, it was just like minigun at the end of Furious 7.
I was like, this guy had a minigun at the end of Furious 7, and he kept shooting at a helicopter, and he didn't get one shot. And Tim's like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It was
It's
good.
pretty.
I can't wait to watch
You
this.
guys have to do it next time.
It's Buzzer
Yeah.
Games.
It's Buzzer Games. Buzzr. There's
Yeah.
no E.
I don't know how good I'd be at it because it seems like it's a
No.
lot of pop culture, and I don't
It's-
know if I'd be
but
very
it's,
good at
that's
it.
the
That's just
difference is
topics,
that
man.
it's not. It's called Celebrity Name Game. It's not well named because it is people, places, and things. The celebrity portion is they give you a celebrity to be on your team. So literally one of the answers was
And you guys had Mark Ruffalo.
No, we didn't have. That would have been amazing. We actually had Scarlett Johansson. Have you heard of her?
Come on, Nick.
But one of our topics was like something about books, and I was just like, fuck my.
It was like famous literary characters that have been turned into movies. It's all like pop culture. But
It-
then there was
it
another one that was
got
like this.
bad.
These are things you have in your backyard. And
Gnomes.
then so it was like this. You jump on this.
Trampoline.
This is the thing that you walk on with a lawnmower.
Grass.
Yeah. So it's some of them were easy, and then one of them was memes, and it was like,
Oh, it was the most impossible
Impossible.
thing in the world. Like one of
how do
them
you
was.
describe a fucking meme?
So you know
what I
the
mean?
dog meme, the Doge?
Yeah.
Was DOGE?
Yeah.
That was it.
Why didn't you say such amazing?
We weren't. We
much
didn't
win?
do it. We
Okay.
watched two people just fucking crashing.
Yeah,
together
they
and
crashed.
doing
I think
it.
I could do. I do a lot of Reddit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not about you doing it. It's about you explaining to Nick what, like, trying to
well,
get him
Nick,
to
I
say
would be lost.
Doge.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Right? Or troll face. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is not happening.
I feel like
Tub
we're
Girl.
spoiling the entire season. We should probably stop talking
Yeah,
about this.
that's not gonna
They
spoil it.
love the
People
fact that we're
excited. They're gonna wanna
sending all
watch
these
it.
people over
No,
to
it was
YouTube.com/buzzer.
fun. And it was cool. And it's one of those things where I was like, oh, this is gonna. We showed up and it was super pro. They had a great crew. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, I don't usually watch game shows, but I just got into it. We got into it.
Yeah, I will
It
tell
went
you
from
guys.
being like, we got up super early to this. Like, Tim looks at me, he's like, we need to win this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes me scareder. That makes me more scared when you're talking to me.
Scareder.
Yeah, I mean, it was a scareder situation for sure. But I will say, you should even watch the episodes of the season that we're not in
'Cause we're in the background.
we're still in the background. And man, there's a motto on this channel: "Talk shit, get shot."
Yeah.
Our channel.
We're talking shit.
We
Yeah,
deserve to get shot for the
Yeah.
shit that we were.
Why are we
talking.
talking shit? You're
We were
supposed to be
talking so
nice.
much
Fun.
shit because it was me and Nick. We were making friends, and like there was other people in front of us that we could talk about, so we did.
Also, I need everyone to watch every episode and see if you can actually catch me winking to the jib.
Okay, that's why I brought this, like, a lot of this up, was the fact that Nick was saying he's off. Nick was not off. Nick was on because every time the jib went up, Nick looks straight at it and just winks. And I'm like,
Give him a
God
wink.
damn
If
it.
there's one thing Nick knows how to do, it's be a cute little winker.
Oh, he's good.
You want to see it, Greg?
Yeah. Well, you now show it to the camera.
I
Now
already
turn.
did this to the camera like
Oh.
5 times.
Well,
when we
you
were
do it.
talking.
That's all you do on this show. I like to think. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this show is the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you can get the show early each and every Friday over at patreon.com/kindafunny. But if you don't want to give us any money, no big deal. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny and get it broken out topic by topic, day by day, until we post the entire thing as an MP3 and video on the following Friday. Gentlemen, are you ready for a real show? I missed you guys. I'm glad you're back. I'm
Yeah,
glad
I missed you too.
it feels like it's been a long time.
I won't lie to you. There was some talk yesterday from the 3 of us about succeeding. Just going away. Seceding from the union. We were better.
We were,
Succeeding.
yeah, I
I
was
was
gonna
like-
say we're succeeding. Or
I
we're
know.
succeeding.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
fucking flubbed the word, Colin. Go ahead and punch me in my fat fucking head.
God, I want to every day. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Colin, why do you start?
I will tell you that me and Nick were at the YouTube Space LA yesterday with Smosh.
Yeah.
And we also were planning a rebellion of Where We Leave.
Okay, good.
Now, parts of that are true and parts of that are not.
Sure.
Smosh was there. We were not talking to them, but they were there.
We did talk to the Meg 64 guys, though.
And
Yeah,
they're fucking
They're
awesome.
really
Did
awesome
you tell them
guys.
we were going to be chilling at MomoCon together? Because they're going to
No,
MomoCon.
we
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Way to fuck it up.
We
We
got
thought-
it. We got
Rocco
it.
hates
I
us.
may or may not have called you both hacks on the exclusive
pretty
episode
hack-worthy.
of the Game Over Greggy show, and the
Oh,
reason
available
was
right now at
because
patreon.com/funny.
we did the Game Over Greggy show, by the way, exclusive by sitting in your chairs and looking at each other.
Oh, I love
And I was
that.
like, these fucking hacks have been acting like these seats are way better than our seats. I have to like.
I guess I love this.
Oh no,
This is
I've said it
well
before and I've said it again. You're in the hardest. You two are in the hardest seats by far. You have to shut. Actually, Greg, you just kind of you lean this way and then look.
You like that?
So the mic's always there, but you're always
I'm a
one that
pro.
has to move the most. So
Well,
I
I
always
like
feel
to
bad for you.
acknowledge. I don't like to
Yeah.
talk at one person if we're having a conversation. It's rude.
Yeah, but mine's easy. I just
That's
move my
easy.
eyes.
It's just like a-
and then wink to the camera.
So this question comes from Shahar, who supports us on
Oh.
patreon.com/kindafunny. Shahar submitted a question which we will be discussing right now, and this one's been in the hopper for a minute or two. And Shahar
Been maturing.
and
Like a
Shahar
fun one.
asks the following: please create an agreed upon ranking of all kind of funny beards. Your beard counts as a negative beard and can be part of the ranking. This is what Shahar, and I assume Shahar is a man.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Is talking about Greg with that because Greg doesn't have a beard.
I'm Portillo.
I leave the ranking parameters otherwise up to you. So there are 4 of us in Kind of Fun. Well, there's 5 of us in Kind of Funny. 6 of us include Portillo. Kevin doesn't count because
You
no
can't
one
see
knows
him.
what
Nobody
he
knows
looks
what
like.
his
But
beard
Kevin does
looks
have a
like.
beard.
Does he have a beard? It's
Kevin
like
does have a
game of
beard.
Guess
I will
Who.
confirm that Kevin has a
Shit,
beard.
now you're knocking Guess Who people down.
Call that a beard. That's more of like I've been stuck in a Peruvian prison for a while, and no
Yeah.
one's giving me a razor because
Yeah,
that might
that's-
cut my jugular open and end this whole nightmare.
He does have a thing, going on. Like he's a high school kid who drew it on.
Oh, they're being mean. I think it looks. It's
We're fucking around, Kevin. We love you.
So the parameters that Shahar noted are up to us, other than that fact that Greg has to be included, even though Greg doesn't grow.
So
facial.
I'm last. I'm ranked dead last.
Yeah,
Period.
you're a real piece of shit. And I'm gonna
Thank
tell
you.
I'm gonna tell you one other thing. And by the way, that you're a real piece of shit thing is
Yeah.
a Nate Ahern special. He says that to me every time I see him.
Oh, he says that to me all the time too.
I'm like,
I'll
thank
see him in like 6 months. We'll have one drink. He's like, you know what, Scarpino, you're a good guy, but you're a real piece of shit.
No, so here's the thing though. Him talking about the ranking, and the ranking's up to us. So this doesn't mean you're dead last. It could mean you're first if we don't like beards.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that a beard that is not good could be worse and is worse than a clean shaven Greg, right?
Yeah,
I see
it's
what
like
you're
when
saying. I see what you're saying.
Greg decides to let it go. Like he has 2 days. On the first day, it's Greg's a little overworked, and on the second day, it's that kid just drew a beard onto himself.
Let me see. Let me touch your face.
I
How,
shaved
now
this
you
morning.
this morning. So
No, I didn't shave.
No,
this
you
morning.
don't.
I didn't shave
you
this
have
morning. I
you
didn't
have a
shave this morning.
legit beard though. You could grow it.
I
You
know.
can feel it, dude. You can feel it. See, like when
But
my
this
hair.
is again. This is a day. This is a day.
Yeah, but when when I shave my facial hair, which I haven't done in a long time now,
Good.
it never feels like that.
Yeah.
Ever feels like that because it's a little more sparse. You have more thickness.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't think you're giving yourself credit. I'd be interested to see what it looks like. Now, I think
why not?
I think that I would place myself behind Nick and Tim.
I want to say something about this. I feel like
I feel like it's gonna tear the group apart.
no. I mean, I feel like there's not even a real question here as to if we're talking the scale of 1 to 10 of no beard and beard. Greg is definitely on the 1. Nick is definitely on the 10.
Yeah, you have a
But it's
fantastic.
not what we're doing. We're doing a ranking. We're not making a spectrum.
Well, it's up to us how we rank it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of different things here, but what I'm saying is it's like if there's a yes and a no, we know what those answers are.
Okay,
So I think
sure.
where me and Colin falls into that's a little different.
You're saying the polar sides are easy because Greg chooses not to have a beard, so by definition, his beard is.
I
not
choose
good.
not to run.
Yeah.
And my beard, it looks somewhere.
Your beard chose you.
Yeah, my beard looks like it actually controls me, and it might be hiding a gun.
Your
and
beard's
or some
fantastic.
Contraband
It's
inside of
fantastic.
it.
I barely can. I've known you for a very long time. I can barely see you in my mind's eye without the beard.
I don't think I'll ever be without the beard.
I kind of feel the same way at this point, which is really
I
weird.
like it.
So wait, can we add a Patreon goal at $35,000? You'll shave the beard.
Sure.
No,
Can I grow it right?
Don't.
now?
we're gonna shave
Yeah,
the beard.
No,
at
I
some
want what
point.
Harley had. I want to get paid by freaking Schick to shave my beard. I
Can
don't know
you
what
set
he
a
got.
realistic goal for us to go with?
I can't.
Which
dream.
for some in this world is $35,000, which is way too much money.
You can
Very
put it- you can
realistic.
Put it on. It's fine.
If we record Taco and Bell, the live action
I'm
detective
doing
series,
mustache.
we are both shaving our beards and just keeping mustaches
Yeah.
just for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put personally. I put Nick first. It's a robust beard. It's a manly beard. It could be many different kinds of beard. It could be a Viking beard. It could be, kind of a more Braveheart beard. It could be a colonial beard. There's a lot of different kinds of beards that this beard can morph into.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of when you have hair that thick. It's the world is your oyster.
Thank you. Thank you. I respect that.
Tim's beard is fuller than mine, and I feel like a little better kempt. He cuts down around the neck. I don't like doing that because I'm afraid. What I'm afraid of doing is, first of all, I don't think it looks that bad on me, that bad, and I'm afraid that if I
nick your
if
jugular.
I'm afraid if like it's uneven before you know it, you're up here, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta
So
shave it.
that leads me to my issue of why I would potentially put you above me on the in between, and that is the fact that I'm really, really bad at upkeeping this motherfucker. A couple days ago,
you had an amazing amount of growth,
beard,
but it looked cool.
Yeah.
and I liked it.
See,
it was reaching the point where it was a little too much.
You were looking like a teddy bear.
But I was just like, well, because here's the thing: if I fluffed it out, I was teddy bear.
Yeah.
If I was like trying to like push it down and like present it well, I liked where it was.
You weren't fooling anybody.
But it needed to be like cleaned up a bit.
Okay.
But I didn't know how to clean it, so that's my problem. So then I went and I tried to clean it.
And
Did you get some nair?
And I did it, and I was like, oh, well, now I got a symmetry. Oh, cut a little too much here. Oh, I need to keep going. And the next thing you know, now I'm back to this. I'm just like, well, I just fucked up. Kevin, can you please put my picture? Actually, forget that. You don't need to do that. Go to Instagram.com/Tim Gettys. Look me up on Instagram. There's pictures of me with the full beard.
Is that the one where you're wearing, for no reason, a black wife beater, like tank top?
It's not for no reason. It's what I wear at night.
Also asked him
But
how
you're
to
staring
use
into the
Instagram.
camera like you're Nick Carter.
Tweet at Instagram. No, tweet. No, actually tweet at Instagram and say, hey, I heard Tim Gettys, at Tim Gettys knows how to use you. He won't tell us. What's up with that?
I obviously don't, because I just directed someone to Instagram.com/Tim Gettys.
That works. That
Yeah, it
takes you
works,
there.
but that's weird as shit. No
People
one uses it on
understand how a
desktop.
username works.
Look for Tim Gettys.
Here's what I'm saying about it, though, is the fact that in the rankings, in the runoff between Nick and Tim, like don't get me wrong, Nick's got the fullest of the beards, but his beard is scary. It is scary, intimidating.
Is it scary?
Yeah, because it's always doing this thing
touch
right
it.
now. I know I can, but it's doing this thing like like his gets to be the teddy bear if it gets all fluffed up, but yours is just always like you have this triangle here that looks like it's making a move to your eye. Like it's at any
it might take it over.
It could overcome your entire face.
Werewolf. It's like a werewolf.
How do you trim yours and keep it in line? Or?
So what I learned a little bit, unfortunately, later on with the beard process is that you have to kind of treat your beard like you would treat your head of hair. You can't like some people, if it's really thick, can do a uniform trim on it. Like right there, that's why you take a Norelco beard shaver, you put it down to like whatever, quarter of an inch, you do it all around. What happens with me though is that certain parts of it grow in less thick. Like this is super thick, this is less thick. So if I do that, it looks like there's no beard here and still stuff here. I actually have to take it and trim the beard with, like they would, the size of your head, and then keep the length here so it kind of points downward a little bit. But what I was going to say about Colin's is, Colin might get a couple extra points in my book because cool natural beards that don't have to go down. Like if I let this go, it'll go. There'll be hair.
It'll merge.
It'll be like Pangea, just one consonant.
Oh, good reference.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to keep everything separate in its own little place, geographically speaking, and I have to do that. And you'll see, like, this looks gross. Like I need to shave this down here.
I mean, it happens. It's hard, man. The upkeep on that sucks.
So you get extra. I'm gonna put Colin a little ahead of you on that one because yours, if it gets thick, it always looks good because there's no extra here. This looks like, you know, I've been wearing the same suit for like 5 days straight, but I'm changing the tie. You know, it's like this guy's not. Is that the same socks he's been wearing for the last 6 months? So I'm gonna go. I'll go Greg at the bottom of the beard spectrum because you just choose not again.
Right.
You choose not.
Somebody.
To partake.
We can't all be the cliche San Franciscan guy.
Yeah. Kevin.
Cliche.
I'll put probably Tim next, then Colin, then me, but then Portillo because by definition he is 100% beard. There's no part of his body that's not beard.
I still think your beard's nicer.
No, have you felt him? He's got puppy hair.
Yeah, but have you felt your beard?
Now here's the X factor. I want to throw this in. It's going to defeat me maybe in my own ranking, but Cheryl notes that there's a fine line with my beard. And Greg has noted this in another way on the spectrum in the past. There's a point where, and I haven't grown my beard from the embryonic stage since October, but there's a point where I look homeless.
Yeah.
And then you have to work your way through it.
You gotta go
and then it goes too far. And this is what Cheryl always points out. My beard, because it's a little more scraggly and not as thick as yours, starts to look, as she defines it, pubic. And it's at this point that I have to shave it back down.
Yeah.
Right now, my hair and my beard are the same length.
And they look on point right now.
Thank you.
This is the best Colin look.
Thank you. And it's complicated because I'm so cheap that I don't even want to buy a beard trimmer.
Yeah.
Because who knows when kind of fun he's just going to blow up.
Right.
So
In the bad way.
In the bad
in
way,
a bad
yeah.
way, yeah. Not
Any week now.
And so I just use my normal hair trimmer and I trim like my whole head and my face, and then I will just take the clip off and just do it very like
Yeah.
over it.
That's
and
kind of
just
what I do a
hope-
little bit too.
Hope to God that I don't nick it anywhere where I have to
Yeah.
just like shave the entire thing off.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would rank them. I would inverse the rankings. I respect Tim's beard more than my own, I think. I would say from top to bottom, Nick, Tim, me, and Greg. The thing is that I would be interested in what Greg's beard would look like. And if Greg might look like a scary monster with a beard, or if he might look like kind of a professional young man with a beard, it's just weird because I've seen Greg in a lot of different ways, right? Greg's lost a lot of weight. Right, Greg's not as fat as he used to be at all. In fact, he's probably very svelte and skinny now. It's funny how that works when you eat a lot of broccoli. So,
Broccoli's always been my third favorite food. I don't understand.
but I wonder
will
what
not
he would
have
look
this
like with a
attack.
beard. I'm curious. It's almost like you want to watch Forensic Files when they have the guy with the clay and he makes
yeah.
the face of what the guy
Yeah.
might look like in 20 years.
Yeah.
You almost want someone to hypothetically show you how
I could do
Greg
that.
would
I
look.
bet there's people in our audience that know that technology.
I put you on the spot. I can do the same. So at 35, you have to shave your beard. At 30, I have to grow a beard for.
But how long do you keep it for?
well,
'Cause
see,
my
that's,
thing
the
is if I
problem
shave
is you
my
never
beard-
know what's going to happen. Is there?
Right.
Do I have to go be in a movie? You don't know.
No,
Maybe gotta go
you know what?
shave
I'm
my
going to
movie.
guarantee you that's not going to happen. So that's something you can just check off your list.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
This is hard. It's a hard thing because I feel like I have a good pretty boy beard. You know what I mean? If you're going for the pretty boy look, then I feel like it needs to be shorter and it needs to be a little bit more like you need to clean here and clean here in order to keep that thing going.
Sure.
Because I'm not so much of the lumber sexual look.
Yeah.
I'll borrow bits and pieces.
Yeah,
of
you
the
do borrow bits
of the
and pieces
different
looking at
different
you.
looks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think I'm pretty stereotypical pretty boy SF with inspirations of urban and lumbersexual.
Okay.
So because of that, if we're ranking beards with the lumbersexual as the ranking,
like the Brawny Man?
huh?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, like if Brawny Man is the 10,
Yeah.
then I'm not doing too well.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think my beard's good for what I'm going for, which sounds
okay.
like a different ranking
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the list. Which I think Colin might fit into my thing a little bit more too, because you're never gonna let that thing get crazy.
No, I
And
can't.
now,
I can't. 'Cause
I
then it gets
will
pubic.
say that it isn't so much a 1 to 10 thing because I think we all have pretty good beards. We're on the good side of things. But then there's a lot of my friends grow beards. I'm like, you need to stop. This shit does not look good.
Kieran does
Yeah.
this.
Not who?
Kieran.
Curran.
Yeah.
No, that motherfucker couldn't grow facial hair if he tried. Him and Alfredo. Ooh, Alfredo. Poor Alfredo.
He just gets like a couple blotches of
It's
it.
like he just
and
gets
then it
like.
falls out.
I mean, Alfredo didn't need to shave until like 3 years ago. It's like so funny, but yeah, that'd be so bad. Alfredo with a beard would be disgusting.
Yeah.
But a lot of other friends that like have the capability to grow hair on their face probably shouldn't. And I suggest they stop.
Okay. Thank you for your topic, Shahar. Thank you for your support. Of course,
Yeah,
if you
thank
want
you so
your
much.
topic read, go to patreon.com/kindoffunny. Throw us a few bones. You get in there. My topic. Now, we do a lot of things here. We call it prognosticating, and we always talking like, oh, there's a rumor of a Vita. What do we want in a new Vita? What I want to talk about is an iPad. I want a new iPad really badly.
The iPad 2.
It's an iPad 2, and it's been great to me. I
it's
love this
fantastic.
iPad. It's been fantastic. I bought it to read comics and browse the internet in bed, and that's what I do with it, and it's fantastic, and I have a great time with it. But then the other day, I went to one of the Apple stores,
Yeah.
and I touched that iPad, the other iPad. I was like, oh, this is really
Is that what it's called? The other iPad?
the other iPad, I believe. is what
iPad
they're calling it.
Air.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. 2? There's 1. I can't keep up anymore. How many
I'm
generations
pretty sure
behind?
iPad Airs. There was iPad, then there was iPad
I had
2,
2. What I got?
then there was the new iPad,
With
Okay.
the retina
which was
display.
iPad with Retina, and then there was iPad
Mini?
3.
Oh, there were minis involved too somewhere.
I'm pretty sure there's an iPad 3,
Okay.
which was yeah, but then there was no, but later there was an I'm pretty sure there was an iPad 3 which was the same form factor as the new iPad, but with a better processor or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Oh, and lightning port and the touch thingy.
Sure.
And now it's just iPad Air is the whatever.
Okay.
Something about that might be a little bit wrong, but that's the general lineage.
So I was looking at this new iPad, the other iPad as it's officially called. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The screen's better. It seems like it's loading fast. That's the one problem right now. You know, my old girl's getting old. She doesn't load the comics as quickly. You know what I
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
mean? I have some problems there and stuff like that. We're having performance issues there. Not terrible ones though.
That
They're
happens
still
when you've been
fine.
in a relationship for a while. You have
I
some
know,
performance
right?
issues.
Yeah, you don't get as excited anymore to read Superman. What's he up to? I don't know. I'm sure it's the same thing he's always.
I
been
just
up
want to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing about it though is I then talked to a friend at Apple. And I was like, oh, and he's, well, what about the new one? And I'm like, what about? And he's like, there's gonna be a new one. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really care. And then he said it's gonna be the rumor, as I'm sure you've read, is that it'll be bigger.
Yeah,
You've heard. And
this
then,
is no rumor.
It isn't.
This is a fact.
But it's not a real
fact of rumors. But I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, this
How
is
much
like,
bigger is it? So my question is,
Bigger is not better.
well, I want to discuss if it is bigger if we care, and then the second thing I want to talk is why I want it so bad. Why do we want something so bad? But let's get to this right now. So
Okay.
the rumor is, bring me up to speed. I don't follow tech rumors.
This is one of those rumors that's been going on for years at this point, and it's similar to the Apple Watch, where it's like we knew it was gonna come, we just weren't sure when exactly.
Okay.
And every single time there's an Apple conference, you can almost at this point telegraph what they're gonna announce and what they're gonna talk about, but every single time people are like, oh, the new iPad, they're gonna talk about this, they're gonna talk about this, and they haven't. The iPad hasn't gotten a real big push for years at this point.
Really?
Yeah, like I mean, it's always been like minor things. There was always been like they'll announce the new MacBooks, and they're like, oh, also we did this to the iPad or the iPhone, and also there's a refresh or whatever. But it's like since the iPad Air or since the Retina display
they
on
sell
iPad,
well,
the
though,
form
right?
factor. Oh, and the Mini, they've been focusing on the Mini.
Yeah,
That's
the Mini's. Well, no, but the last time the Mini came out, didn't the Mini just get because I just got a Mini, but I got it's a 2, not the newest one, because the newest one was like garbage as far as the upgrades were concerned.
Well, the
right?
newest one
Had, like more
adds,
space than
adds
I would get.
the touch.
Oh, the
thingy,
touch thing,
the touch
yeah.
unlock or whatever. And it's all these dumb little things that don't matter. But then it's like now that I'm used to having touch unlock,
Yeah,
I hate
trying
going
to
back
unlock
to
this
my
thing with my
iPad.
finger like an idiot.
It's like, damn it, like it's
I,
frustrating.
literally, that doesn't work for me. The touch unlock. It works one out of every.
It's because
3
you're like a man in
times.
black. You ain't got no fingers.
Oh, that's
Well, I
weird.
think it's
Works
because my skin's too dry.
flawlessly. But
You do have really, really dry hands.
for years, there's been rumor of the iPad Pro, which it's code named,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to be, if I remember correctly, 11.9 inches.
Okay.
So
How big is this thing?
That's 9 inches.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay. I like where we're going with
So
this.
it's sizable, and it's
Right.
the pretty much the same size as the screen of the MacBook Air. I want to say. So it's getting more to like, that's for laptop. Let's replace your Air. This is now supposed to be what you're using for what you're doing. It's the Pro version or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's
So what is
more
it?
likely than ever now because we're starting to finally see actual cases being made, which doesn't confirm anything, but the fact that we're now seeing from China a lot of different cases from different companies is like, all right, it's inevitable.
Is the goal that it's so powerful it's basically like the iMac rather? Was the iMac or the Mac Pro? What's the computer that's just the display?
iMac.
Is it the iMac?
Yeah, it's an iMac.
Yeah, because so they had the Mac Pro, which was before it used to be the big ass tower that no human being could actually physically move because they were so heavy because they were like solid steel cases. Then they went to the donut, right, the little trash can, which is the dopeness. But they're not selling as more of those as they are with the iMacs. Is that the idea? Is that they're going to make this new iPad? You're not going to need a laptop anymore. You just put a little keyboard in it when you're ready to rock
Yeah, I
and
mean,
roll,
this is
you think?
it's supposed to be more than ever to kind of blend the tablet laptop world, which
So
I
it's
don't know
not a
if you-
Surface Pro thing.
I mean, I wouldn't give that any real credit. It's definitely like the iPad thing, but like,
Well,
if
I'm
you-
plugging a keyboard into it. I mean, the Surface Pro's been doing that for a long time.
Also, is the
well,
iPad.
yeah, but I mean, the iPad from almost day one has had Bluetooth,
Okay.
Apple stuff.
Yeah,
which
but they're not like promoting it that way. They're like,
Right.
This is gonna be something native.
they'll
from
probably
IT.
do that.
Okay.
But I mean, the thing is, if you guys have been to Best Buy in the last 3
Turn on the
years, then is that the thing for
It
them?
used to be years ago.
my God.
Best Buy.
But in the last 3 years or
Turn
so,
on the phone?
Fun. Was there-
turn
Why would they-
on the phone.
Well,
I thought that's what you said.
That's
too.
what I thought. I was like, turn on the phone. What a terrible.
What are you
fucking
talking about,
tagline.
The last 3 years at Best Buy, the tablet section has been bigger than the computer section.
Yeah.
Whether it's like laptop or desktops, and like that's crazy. Like if you're going for a desktop at Best Buy, you have maybe 6 options. It's like here's an HP, here's a Dell, here's a cheap one, here's a whatever. But then laptops, you get maybe 13 different laptops. Tablets, there's like 26 that you can just like go and play with whatever. And so it's like that's just how the market shifted. And I feel like a lot of the stuff like the Air, they're trying to get people to just get the iPad instead. So
Well, I mean, you got to think, right? What are the 3 or 4 basic things that everyone that has to interact with these products needs? You need internet access, to check your email, and some sort of rudimentary word processing software that you're probably just going to use your email for anyway, and Google Docs. Like that. I mean, that's really all you need. Really, is base stuff. We need more. Obviously, we need more robust machinery and hardware to be able to edit video, record sound, shoot, manipulate footage and whatnot. But like for the most part, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think that like the desktop is not long for this world. right? Like maybe in the next 10 years, we're just not going to need that anymore. It's all going to be laptops.
The desktop. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So the desktop. Because I agree. Because I was talking to Cheryl recently about this, where when I got my tablet, when I got my iPad in 2011, I guess it was the iPad 2, which I still use. I was really still very skeptical of it. I just wanted it because I was traveling overseas a lot, and I ended up falling in love with it. But I think that when the tablets came out, especially with iPad, people were like, "Well, laptops are dead now." And like to me, I'm like, no, like more than ever, I'm like, I need a laptop. I think laptops are fine and they're robust and they're interesting and they're useful and they're tactile and all those kinds of things. So to me, the iPad's always been kind of a secondary machine. I use it basically in bed to read. I use it basically to read books and browse the internet, and that's pretty much it. But I'd be interested in, see, here's the problem. I want to discuss this real quick. You're saying that the people can't really see at home, even if I pointed it out, but on the iPad 2, there's, I would say this is probably 3/4 of an inch on either side and then probably a full inch on top and on bottom. I wonder if the solution, even though they're not going to do it, is just to get rid of all of this stuff and make it holding the screen.
I mean,
and then just turn off the touch on the side so you can still hold it like that.
The iPad, any iPad after the 2 essentially does that. So it's
because this would add.
It gets rid of most of the side. So it is. I mean, it's just like this.
Yeah, that's more what I would want it. Like you could have maybe the top on the bottom. You could add an 1.5 inches or so.
He's holding up the iPhone.
You could add an 1.5 inches or so to the display and be pretty. Because I don't want this is the problem with Apple is that they're mimicking what Samsung and others are doing, and I don't want them to do it. I don't think it's I don't understand this whole bigger is better thing. This is the perfect form factor.
See,
bigger is better.
No, see, and this is the thing too. Is like with the phone, right? Like I thought that was too big, and I didn't go for it. I went with this, and I'm happy with that choice. But like when I was ready to pull the trigger on a new iPad just to have the new iPad or whatever, and then when they said, well, the new one might be bigger. And I was like, and then I was like, well, wait, for everything I use it for lying in bed reading, for browsing the internet, for Twitter or whatever, for the things I actually use it, I would love a bigger screen.
Really?
Yeah.
See, this is funny. This is somewhere where for me, I don't care. Like recently, I just got the watch and stuff, and I didn't get it yet, and I'm upset about that.
I was gonna say, you're still wearing that piece of
it's
shit
coming,
watch.
It's coming at some point. This watch has been dead for months, Greg.
I know. I'm aware, and it's in Spanish, and you have a million other stories
but
about
I don't
it.
care. Here it is. Again. Anyways, I've been thinking about all this stuff. I'm like, well, shit, am I going to have to upgrade any of my other tech soon? Like I got my phone. I'm good for at least another year, whatever. And I was like looking at my iPad, and I'm like, I love this thing. And I was like, do I need I like the finger unlocking or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I don't need that. And the way that my iPad is right now, I love it. This form factor sucks. Just with all the extra room on the sides. Why the fuck was it designed that way? No Retina display. Come on, all that shit. But the processing on mine is fine.
This is gonna say the Retina display. Really, I thought it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Until you look at the difference, you're like, oh, it looks like you got glasses.
It's standard at this
you're
point.
Like,
so it's
oh my god.
And for me, reading comics, that's the big thing. Is I want the bigger screen because what's the main thing I do with comics is pinch and zoom. You know what I mean? Because I can't read the word bubbles in the 2-page spreads.
I think that's my thing. Is I love my phone. I love how big it is and stuff. It's still not big enough to read comics on comfortably. Like that, you need to do pinch and zoom. That's perfect to me. It's a comic book size.
Yeah, but it's
that is a comic book.
But you don't have to zoom in at it all ever.
No.
Do you guided view?
No.
What is that? Is that when you plunge and it goes? It does.
Yeah.
I see. I love that. I like that experience.
I've been reading comics too long. I can't do it.
To me, it's more like a story, like a storyboard or an animatic, which is I think it's just a cool experience. So if I had that size phone, I'd probably read everything on it.
Yeah,
just being able to tap. I like to look at the detail in the individual cell, and then it zooms out and you see the full panel. I think that's a really cool experience and very impactful. But having said that, though, I do get that on my mini, and I was one of those. Remember, hardcore. I don't need this. Tablets are completely extraneous. This is the stupidest investment possible. And then Kevin loaned me his mini for that whatever trip. I think we were going to New York. Where was I? Oh, Florida for Eric's wedding, and I loaded some comics on it, and I was like, whatever, I'll give it a shot. Changed my life. I'm like, this is the device I need to read magazine style content from now on. Like the laptop. To Colin's point. I hope it never goes away for work because I cannot.
It won't.
I will never.
Desktops will never
be
go
able
away
to stomach typing on anything other than a tactile keyboard, like an actual physical keyboard.
Yeah.
I can't type on. I can't type on my mini.
That doesn't work.
I can't do it. It's too big, and when I put it down, I have to do. And then I'm like, whoa, wow, this is cool. And being back in 8th grade, this is dope, right? So laptop is still my preferred methodology of searching
why was that
quickly
in 8th grade?
because I'm pecking at it.
Okay.
I'm a www. You can't do this on the mini. Because it's not. It's just kind of.
Got it.
It's odd.
For user listenings at home, he was acting like he was on a keyboard.
I was acting like a Tyrannosaurus Rex on a keyboard.
Oh, okay, cute. So
www.
my question, I guess, really is what. So what does everybody want in the next iPad, really?
I mean, that's my thing. Is I had that moment where I was like looking at my iPad for the first time in a while. I was catching up on comics, and I'm like, they nailed it. Like they did it. I don't need anything more. Anything else is just nice little extras that I really don't need. I don't think I'm going to be upgrading my iPad for a long time.
I'm surprised that this one's hung out with me for so long. I mean, iPad 2, that was a while ago.
iPad 2 was a long time ago.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you got to get a Retina display, and I mean, even the size notwithstanding, the Retina display is where you're going to see
I won't have the
really
patience
big
soon.
difference. No, you might not actually.
What are you playing? What are you using?
I have the iPad Air.
Okay, so that has the Retina, and then
Yes.
more screen size.
Yes,
So maybe
yes,
that's
yes.
why you can read stuff that I have.
So I had an iPad. I had the new iPad, which was the first one with the Retina.
the other iPad.
Which is the same form factor as this one.
Yeah.
But with Retina.
Okay.
And then eventually it like shat out on me and like the screen kind of like broke. So I sold that one and then probably
Scheming?
shouldn't. Yeah, it was a very schemy thing that I
Maybe
did.
don't admit to a federal offense.
No, I didn't do any federal offense. I just whatever.
Sold the lemon.
I sold it. Yeah, I sold it, and then I bought a new one, which was I think it's called the iPad Air.
Okay.
So
Colin.
there's been a new one after that I don't have, but like using it, it's perfect for me.
Well, that's the thing. This one was perfect for me for a long time, and now I'm just ready to make the jump.
But see, that one's not perfect though. Like that's
For me,
not-
it was.
Yeah, but it's not that. Like you say that, but it's like the Retina thing and the form factor are gonna make it a much better real experience for you. The thing that I'm complaining about, the finger, it'll make it slightly better, but definitely not that much. This Retina, this is not the optimal Greg Miller experience. I know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that mine is the optimal Greg Miller experience. I don't think you need anything more
Why don't
than
you
that.
give yours to Greg Miller and have him read a comic book on it? Bring it tomorrow. Have him read a comic book.
Back right now. You can
I
look
mean,
at
well,
it.
I'm
Hey,
not
check it
worried.
out.
I'm just gonna buy a new one. It's just the next one's. I want a bigger one.
Well, if you want the bigger one,
I watch movies on this thing too. Having it be in a big screen. Colin, do
so
you care?
freaking heavy
What
though,
would you
man.
ever? What do you need anything from your
No,
next?
I
iPad?
think I want Apple to stop being so reactionary with making everything bigger because other people are doing it. I think that like they have the right idea of shrinking things and making them smaller. Now I respect the whole real estate of the screen, and maybe this thing can be a little bit bigger, but let's not get to the territory of being bulbous. Apple proved to us that we need these things in our lives, so let's they almost need to trust their own instincts and be like, well, there's such a thing as too big. I see some phones that are even bigger than this, and it's like comical.
not many.
I have seen phones that are bigger than this.
Kevin has a bigger one.
And it is comical to me how big phones are. Like, it is literally like people are like, hello? I'm like
For
like,
those
what
of you
the
listening at home, Colin just put the iPad to his face, and it was very funny to watch. Watch the video as well.
So to me, like my iPad's getting a little slow and a little worse for wear because it's 4 years old, but I like it. I would, if I could almost get the same form factor with just better innards, I would do that. But I trust that, Apple has not steered me wrong in the past with many things, and maybe we'll get a new one that will be a little bit better. But my needs for these devices are also simple. Like I show people my phone, I have like nothing on my phone. I use it to like browse the internet and tweet and like read
all
hockey
those mobile
scores and
games you're
shit.
playing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love mobile games. They're great.
Yeah.
So, I'm just looking for something a little more powerful, but like, I'm fine with my iPad 2. I can see myself using my iPad 2 for 5 more years, like straight up. Like it's fine for what I use it for. It might not play the newest and nicest games. It might not have the beautiful display, but I like download books onto my Kindle app. I mean, that's basically what I do.
Yeah, see, unless you're playing games, that's where I think that you can sort of get lost in the generations of all these things, right? Because if there's something that's not really processor intensive, like for me, I have an iPad mini 2. I can't think to upgrade because what I need it for? I read comics on it, books, and search and browse the internet. That's it. So do I need something that's going to be like super crazy, robust, awesome?
I mean,
like,
I don't think
powerful?
I don't even think there is like a huge iPad game user
Market,
base.
yeah.
That like is thinking that way.
So that's
All the Infinity Blade people.
I think the more important issue at hand is kind of what Colin just brought up, which was that Apple used to be known as a company of innovation, right? And when they made the original iPhone, it was purposely that size. It was almost criminally that size because it was like it broke every video resolution that you could ever think of. You're like, why the hell would they do that? But it was meant so that you could get your thumb to the top of the screen without straining it, and that's a very like think about that concept of like someone's like, no, why don't we make it 16:9 so it's exactly like every other resolution out there. And Steve Jobs was like, no, it needs to feel right in your hand. It's about the experience of what we're providing for people, that is every bit as important as what's in there, or how big the screen is, or what it looks like. Like the form factor of it is very, very important. It's not an afterthought. Right now, I feel like the company is very much all about afterthoughts. Like, what can we do? Well, we can make it bigger. Okay, what else can we do?
See, I don't know.
I guess we can make it more
adapting,
colors.
Man. It's adapting to the experiences on the
but
phone.
It's not adapting. It's
reactionary.
It's reactionary, and it represents to some degree a lack of vision. Where Steve Jobs was always the thought leader. He was the taste maker, and now I look at an Apple store and I'm like, this is getting oddly close to a Microsoft store. Like when I look at a Microsoft store, I'm like, there's the same product in every shape and size, and there's not really any reason for me to want to interact with it other than that it's very functional and it's a little bit bigger than the competition. You know, whereas the iPhone, it was like, dude, I mean, granted, you can't always have, not everything can be the iPhone. Like once in like a great gap of time do we see a piece of technology that changes the world so fundamentally like that did. Like think about that. We all lived in a generation where we had a little pager that you had to find a phone, like, you know, a quarter phone for.
Live in that generation.
You lived in that generation. You just weren't cognizant of it.
Well, it's funny that you say that it couldn't happen again because I mean the iPod did the same thing for music.
The iPod,
and the watch isn't, and that's what,
that's the problem,
and that's
right?
like,
and I would say tablets are cool, but they're not as fundamentally groundbreaking as the iPhone. I mean, you can't compare the two. Well, having owned a tablet, I'm like, holy crap, everyone should have one of these. They're amazing.
When the original iPad popped up, I was like, I have an iPhone. Why would I get a bigger iPhone that isn't a phone? You know what I mean? Like
right.
that was
soon they're going to be the same thing.
The iPod itself.
Hello? You just saw me clean that.
The iPod itself. I think the iPod itself, the success was every bit as far because of sort of the distribution as it was the actual technology. Like the technology was dope. But let's remember, like the original iPods, I was like, why are people interacting with these? Like the pinwheel thing that you had.
Yeah, but remember they were buttons originally. That was the craziest thing.
Oh, were they buttons?
Revolutionary.
It was the wheel was revolutionary, but remember the original iPod had buttons, and in that wheel, and then they made it.
It was weird, yeah,
but it was very tactile. I think the point you're making, and I think that as a salient point, is just that like they've revolutionized things over and over again. Apple revolutionized personal computing. Apple revolutionized the operating system. Apple revolutionized music. Apple revolutionized affordable computers. Apple revolutionized the phone. Apple revolutionized the tablet.
How much more revolutionizing can they do?
See, that's my thing.
It was one person that did all that. By
they revolutionized.
That's the problem.
They did. They don't need to though.
Right.
We don't
they
need
have what
revolutions.
works, and now they just want to make tweaks
Just
to
make it better.
Right? And that's all I want.
Give me different options.
I don't know.
I'm fine with that.
I expect them to keep doing it. Like that to me. Like they built it up so much that's the expectation is that they're going to keep doing that. And I don't like. That's why I look at the watch. I'm not trying to be jaded about the watch. It's cool. I'm glad people are excited about it. That thing is not a revolutionary product.
There's
sorry.
absolutely nothing that's revolutionary about it. It's completely unnecessary. Is it going to be necessary in a couple of years? I don't know.
Maybe,
Who knows?
maybe.
It needs the iterations, and we'll see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't need to be, though. It's like, here's something different. Here's something new. The same way as the iPad. The iPad, everybody was like, I have my phone. I have my laptop. Why would I need it? And now iPads are just, everyone has one.
Yeah.
Everyone being most people, like anyone in our industry or whatever, it's just like, oh yeah, I have my iPad, and I use it for reading comics or magazines or whatever, very specific things. The watch is eventually going to have that same thing where people use it for very specific functions that you don't need. You know, I don't need this screen, but I love it.
Right.
I would like. I'm never going to go lower than this for my future phones, ever. So.
See, I think for me, it boils down to sort of the concept that Apple used to be the sort of benchmark for supreme quality to me, where I would always look to Apple and be like, oh, that's what it should be. That's what the experience should be like. It's hard to explain because, like, with Microsoft, you're like, I have a ton of different options, right? Then you used to turn around and be like, Apple, I have 2 options. Oh, but you know what? They just happen to be the 2 perfect options, right? And there was something to that. There was a magic to someone telling me, no, this is it. This is what you should have. This is what you should want. And me going, no, and then picking it up and going, they're right. They're 100% right.
You did it again,
You
John.
nailed it, right? And then when you go into an Apple store, it is the sort of like, it's a smorgasbord. It's like you don't like that size? We got a size that's a little bit bigger. You don't like that size? We got a size that's a little smaller. You don't like that color? We got another color. Versus like, hey, no, this is all you have to worry about today.
See,
There's
man,
something cool about
that's
that.
always what I didn't like about Apple. Is
But that's
I love
Apple.
the
Though.
options.
That is Apple.
I mean,
Apple
that's
we
what
make
Apple
5
was.
products
That's not what
really,
Apple
really,
is.
really. But the problem is, and you see the issue here, is that every other company is that. So Microsoft is that, right?
No, but every company's not, because Apple's still doing the quality stuff.
They do
they're
have
not.
they do have good quality, but what I'm saying is like there's it goes beyond that to like that was the market differentiator for them, which was that they're gonna make quality, not quantity, and now they're making quality, but they're slowly starting to slip over into the quantity game.
We're acting like they didn't do that from day one, or day one being the iPod. It's like, all right, here's the iPod in 10 colors. Here's the iPod mini. Like they've always done this. It's not like it's been
yeah, but they had a track
different
record for the phone where it was like it was crazy when they were like, we're switching the colors, right? Like they iterated a little bit.
It wasn't that crazy,
but not to the place
there was
where
so much iteration with the phone.
Yeah, but I think to the point you were making before, where I understand kind of where both of you are coming, is just a sense that when the iPod came out, it worked and it made sense. You just said that the watch doesn't make sense right now. That's the first thing that came out where in its first iteration you don't understand it. You know, like the iPod, you understood. The iMac, you understood. The Apple II, you understood. The Mac, you understood. The iPad, you understood. The iPhone, you understood.
Right.
And the watch is out, and it's like,
why do I need it?
and they're like, no, wait for it until iWatch 5, and it'll be great. And it's like,
Well,
no.
That's not even what I'm saying though, because like I do think that the watch has certain things that there is reasons to have it in the same way there's reasons to have an iPad. What I'm saying is you don't need a watch. There's nothing that's saying you need it in the same way you need a phone.
Right.
But I do say it's similar to the first iPad, where it's like you don't need it. But if you want to read comics, you should get it. With the watch, it's like if you want to have the fitness stuff, or if you want to have your notifications without taking your phone out, which when you have a phone that's this fucking big is a nice thing to have.
That might have been the stroke of genius.
You can tweet,
But I mean,
that might have been the stroke of genius.
it. You're right.
But that's fine though.
Make
I
it
mean,
so
like,
heavy that they have to buy a watch.
but this is not
in
heavy.
tandem.
That's the thing.
Make it
about
so
it, though,
bulbous.
is it's so
Like,
like
it's such a chore to take it out of your pocket that you're gonna want to strap something on your arm that tells you what's on its screen. That's
I mean,
perfect.
it's
that's genius,
it's
Colin.
whatever,
That's
dude.
genius.
We'll see how this all goes.
That is
No,
actually funny as
look,
hell.
I mean, everyone likes the Apple bash, right? Even if you're a fan, you always like to go, oh, I don't know, Apple.
I like
whatever.
the bash.
Make
it bigger. Give me a bigger iPad.
It's still amazing watching this stuff, and I'm sure that the watch will be awesome. But it's hard. Like, what the hell else can you do unless there's a huge technological leap in displays or the way we interact with these devices? Like, shit, what else is left?
You need a visionary to tell you that.
But that's
man.
my
that's
thing.
the
Is like,
problem.
would you rather them not do it? Rather them not try? Because I wouldn't. I want to see what happens.
No, and I think
like
the,
this
no,
shit.
but I think
it's
the
just-
market agrees with Tim, but
It's
you know.
just no. I mean, granted, yeah, they're still making money hand over fist, but it was fascinating that we got to watch Steve Jobs' his brainchilds come to life. Right? It was fascinating that there was a man out there who literally, because he had a vision, could change the world, and we're not seeing that anymore. And that's kind of like it's a little depressing. It's a little sad to be like, well, that guy's not here anymore. It's life. It happens.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, also, not to discredit him or take anything away. It's just like, all right, here's an iPod. He did it with the iPod, and then it's like, all right, what's the next step for this? Phone. Then all right, what else could we do? iPad. It's like all of it is just iterations on the same thing, and then now it's just like, all right, well, we've done all of that.
Yeah, but it's not the idea so much as the execution with that, right? It's like I have an idea, and everyone was like, that's there's no way that's gonna work, and then he did it, and you're like, that's what changes the world right there. Going like, all of you think I can't do it?
And I also think that it's
Screw you.
important. I know we're running long or whatever, but I think it's also important to note that we saw an Apple without Steve Jobs, and that Apple almost went away completely. And that's like what a lot of people forget, is that in the mid-90s, Apple was like literally 2 quarters away from shutting down before Steve Jobs came back. Like, they were fucking irrelevant. And people look at like the iPad and the iPhone and be like, well, these are their first tactile things. Like, no, they made things like the Newton and stuff like that in the early 90s. They made PDAs. Like, they have no idea what the fuck they were doing without him, you know? And he came back and he revitalized them with ideas. They had the technical prowess. They always had the technical prowess. Wozniak was the one with the technical prowess.
Right.
Steve Jobs was the one that said, we can make billions of dollars with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you need someone like that. I don't think Apple's ever going to be the same. I don't care like what their market valuation is and all that kind of stuff. They're never going to be the same.
It's not bashing Tim Cook.
No,
the
it's
guy's
just
an
the
amazing
fact-
it's impossible.
leader as well.
It's impossible to fill his shoes.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's like with someone filling, frankly, Bill Gates' shoes. Like, it's not going to happen.
No.
The Microsoft without him is different. That's just the way it is. It doesn't make it better or worse. But I think it's worth noting that he's an impossible person to replace, but that we have all of these case studies of just real life existence without him at Apple when John Scully kicked him out in the 80s and they fucking sucked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, people really forget, like, for all their market valuation of almost $1 trillion is a far cry from them not having anything in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And he was the one to turn it around. So it's just important to note that that's relevant. You know, like, that's relevant because it's not like he was always there and then disappeared. It's all, he was there, they fired him, they sucked, he came back, they were good again. And that's not a coincidence. You know?
Greg,
Yeah.
to answer your original question, Get a new iPad if you want to get an iPad.
I'm getting the big one. I want the big one.
Then wait and get the big one.
If you want more on the whole Apple history, we did a topic called Apple versus PC, episode 40, part 4. I remember we'd had these same conversations.
Oh, why not?
This part, not the part about.
It's
the
good to
larger
check in
iPad.
with Apple every once in a while because they are just a fascinating company. They're fascinating.
And I will recommend real quick.
It is fascinating. I suppose.
There's a lot of great reading
Sorry.
about. There's a lot of great reading about Apple out there. Two must-read books: I Was, which is Steve Wozniak's like kind of autobiography, which is awesome.
It's
and
a dope name.
And
about that.
Walter Isaacson's biography of
biography.
Steve Jobs, which is fucking immaculate. And he talked to him over years, including right before he died. And there's a lot of really interesting shit in
gotta
there.
read that.
It's
I still gotta
very,
read
very
that.
good. Must-read book. Must-read book for Apple fans. A lot of insight.
Tim,
Mm-hmm.
it's your topic,
Yes.
but just so happens that your topic's sponsored. This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate, the box for geeks, gamers, and pop culture nerds. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items of gamer and pop culture, like vinyl figurines, comics, shirts, and more. Go to lootcrate.com/KF and enter the code KF to get 10% off any new subscription. May's theme is Unite, so sign up now and you'll get swag from supergroups like the Avengers, Team Fortress, and more.
They're so good at timing stuff.
Dope.
Yeah.
Avengers coming out.
Yeah,
They know what they're doing.
We paused on our unboxings.
Mhm.
We were doing those for a while, but then just unboxings. We've been giving them away.
We have a lot of other things to do.
I've been periscoping them. That's how I've been doing the Bark Box.
Cool.
Periscoping them. But the Loot Crate over there that we're gonna give away on Colin Moriarty Live coming up is Game of Thrones themed.
Oh, cool.
Lots of Game of Thrones stuff.
That's fun.
They do cool
Yeah,
stuff.
so every month there's different themes and stuff, so that's all cool. And again, so what was it? 10% off if you go to
LootCrate.com/KF.
Awesome.
You go
Loot
to
Crate's cool.
CF. You're gonna be supporting Chris Fernandez, and we don't want that.
Chris Fernandez.
Stick with kind of funny.
Him and who's the guy? Who was the guy we had last? Anthony.
Carboni?
Is
No,
it?
no, the drawing that somebody sent in of what the one. I don't remember the character or the reference.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
works
sure
for
if it was
31
shown.
flavors.
Oh, the fictional character at Baskin Robbins. I don't know. I retweeted it, I think. So.
Yeah,
Okay,
and-
we'll figure that out. Him
So-
and Chris Fernandez.
I got a
Yeah,
question.
hang
Nick.
out together at Baskin Robbins.
Is Baskin Robbins called 31 Flavors in SoCal?
It's Baskin Robbins 31 flavors.
That's its full.
So-
Yeah, I think they rebranded at some point and dropped the 31. It's still in their logo,
Yeah.
but they don't usually. It's
Yeah.
like old people like us remember that.
Because like you always call it 31 Flavors. I'm like, that's so weird. I know a couple other people that like.
That used to be. I think Greg's correct. I think it used to be their full name. When my
That was
brother-
their
I have
shtick.
to ask
Well, I
Matt.
knew it was their shtick, but like that's like to me, whenever someone says that, I'm like, do you call Subway Eat Fresh?
But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like
That's
it was.
perfect.
It was for real in there.
It wasn't.
was
their
I
a thing
logo.
for
remember. I
them.
remember there was a
It used
31.
to say
I mean,
31 flavors.
well,
and there was
even
Baskin
even
Robbins above
now,
it.
their logo, if I remember correctly, the BR has
Yeah.
31 in it.
It's like the FedEx era. Once you see it, you can't
Yeah.
see it.
But it's like I would never say
It's
Baskin
kinda-
Robbins 31 flavors.
It's similar to how Domino's Pizza is now just Domino's, and you're like
We're more than pizza.
they're just cramming that down our throats.
Yeah.
Like Pizza Hut clearly isn't the better pizza.
Damn, you just fucking.
Actually,
laid
I
it
like
out.
I gotta.
Domino's a lot.
I'm gonna
I like
give.
Domino's a lot.
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out. I've talked about this before. I don't know where or when, but a shout out to Domino's for the most self-degrading marketing campaign of all time.
Which was?
like for years they were like, we suck. That was like all they used to say in the commercials. Like, our pizza
We
sucks,
know we're bad.
our dough sucks, our cheese sucks.
But we're making a
like, we
better
have to
one,
be
though.
better. Our delivery sucks. We don't know. You,
They
you
made
can't
fun of
call.
that pizza cookie and all that other
Yeah,
stuff.
like they keep like just making fun of themselves, and it's awesome. Like it's totally self-deprecating, and I think it's whatever marketer or like group came up with that campaign it's brilliant, because it's like, listen guys, like, people think you suck, you have to acknowledge it and then make it better, and that's what they've done.
Start there. That's your baseline, and then kind of go from there.
It's brilliant. You can see a Mad Men kind of boardroom scenario with that. Yeah.
I had did we get to your topic yet?
No, we didn't.
No, we have no idea.
All right,
what
let's-
it is.
Let me go on this tangent real
Yeah.
quick, and then I was in Amsterdam.
Did we get there? Did we get a topic? We're on a tight schedule.
Sorry.
Fuck that. Here's a tangent.
We're gonna have to do the fourth one after our not the
Go ahead, do your topic.
No. Go on your 10. I'm just
I
saying
was
we're
gonna say I was in.
We have to do the Patreon Q&A today for the Kind of Funny Games folks, and of course, in true Kind of Funny fashion, we're cutting it down to the fucking wire.
So we'll just do the go on
I
your
thought we'd
tangent.
set it up. I thought here's what I was throwing out there. It's an exclusive Q&A. We could just start the Q&A while we finish the topic. Oh, hey everybody, we're gonna finish this topic. You get to see a topic early. Thought.
Yeah, you could do that. All right.
I don't know technically if that's a thing. Kevin's shaking his head. He's
What-
like,
what
no.
is he
We should just take a break for it.
Let's just take a break for it.
Can you just fucking let me do my thing?
So we're gonna put the
I'm not doing my
laptop
thing.
right in the middle here so you guys can see it, but it's also gonna be
No, we're not doing that.
Funny story. We don't need to see the laptop.
Funny
Could have been done
story.
with my story by now.
We're wasting more time now.
Guess what? It's already over. We've blown it up. No matter what, something's happening.
All I was saying was that we could do the fourth topic after the Q&A, and Nick, go on your tangent.
That's fine. I was in Amsterdam one time on a job, and it was like a 3 or 4 day job. It was very hellish. It was one of those things where like you're hungover, you've traveled so long, you're out of your normal environment, and the food is different because the food in Holland is like, it's different. It's just different, right? So we had this one moment, Brennan and I, it was a Brennan job, where he was like, dude, I just want something American, and there happened to be a Domino's down the street from us, and we're like, dude, it can't taste the same. It's not going to taste the same. So of course we ordered 2 extra large like Domino's pizzas with like chicken wings and all that stuff, and I think we got like a chicken wing pizza, and it was exactly the same.
Buffalo chicken
and it
pizza.
brought it home. It got us through the trip, because you know when you're like in a foreign country, you're like, I just want something that tastes like America, you know, and then you get it and you're like, I'm good, I can go the extra mile now.
How long were you gone?
Like 4 days.
Yeah.
When I go,
I mean, like you're like fucking talking like you're an Afghani troop.
when I go to
Something.
Gamescom,
It only takes like 8 hours to get
in the
there.
Cologne train station right by Gamescom, there is a Pizza Hut, and I go to that Pizza Hut religiously when I'm in Cologne because it's like I gotta have a piece of pizza, man. And again, it's bad pizza, but it's bad American pizza.
Bad American pizza.
And it's better than having another whatever the hell I'm eating over there. The food in Germany actually resonates with me quite a bit, but I hear you 100%.
Okay, so my topic is, if you could talk to your future self, have a conversation.
Am I going forward in time or is he coming back?
He's coming up. You're sleeping in bed, right? So you and your girl, and you're just
Sleeping
chilling.
in bed in the present day.
You're just chilling in bed, and at like 3 in the morning,
Am I sleeping?
future you pops in and wakes you up. It's like, Tim or Nick, Greg, or Colin.
Yeah, I understand.
What do you want to know about the future? I can tell you anything. Now, here's the thing. You can't use this for gain. Like, you can't do any Back to the Future bullshit. You can't like, oh, I want to make money off of this. There's no profiting from this. It's just information that, and the other caveat here is whatever they tell you isn't going to change the future.
That's what I was going to say. So there's no assumption of paradoxes.
There's no paradoxes, none of that
So
stuff.
I can't be like, hey, should I get in the car tomorrow? And he's like, don't do it, because that's where it ends.
I don't think that you would ever like. That's okay. I guess that's my question. Is
Future
what are your questions?
Future you, clearly from 10 years in the future, and you're like, do I get in the car tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, it's gonna be okay.
He's like, that's a waste of your question, and then recedes.
Yeah. but the thing is, like, what questions would you ask? Like, what are the first things to come to mind?
I can
And
ask
is
a
there
lot
things
or
that
just one?
A lot. I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's a conversation. Like, eventually he's gonna leave. You can't just ask him forever.
Sure.
But like, he has things to do in the future. Come on, obviously. But it's. I don't know if my question should be what questions would you ask or what would you not want to know. Both of those.
I would ask a bunch of questions about like politics and depending on how much in the future he was, space travel, where are we, how much technology do we have, like what's the cool new piece of technology, like
After the success of the iWatch.
yeah. He's like, well, the iWatch was the most successful piece of technology ever created, so
Yeah,
now we
there
all
you
wear
go.
watches only.
Only watch it.
Totally naked except for an iWatch.
You wear a watch on your dick, you wear a watch around your waist.
So many watches.
It's just an eye belt also, just in case so you tells you when your pants are gonna fall down. I don't know. It's hard because I think every question that pops in my mind, I think I could benefit from. The immediate question is, what's the dominant medium for entertainment like 20 years from now? Like how are people going to consume what we do so that we can make sure we're there when it's happening, right? And or make sure that we're staying ahead. Like I would love to go back to 2005 and tell myself, hey, this YouTube thing that you think and you're arguing to every single person you know that it's going to be shut down because it's like fucking Napster and it should be shut down because it's illegal. Hey, that's going to be a really big deal. Get on that right now. You know,
You're that guy I didn't like.
Oh, I was like, dude, this is such bullshit.
It
It's
seemed
like,
obvious at the time, though, like what you're saying was going to be true.
oh yeah.
Like, how does anyone
Well,
accept that this is happening?
It was in lawsuits. Like YouTube was being sued, and then Google came
Google
and was
saved
like, "Gagoosh, ate clean because we have more power than you." And I was like, "That's weird. That doesn't make any sense." But all the lawsuits went, they pay them off. So I mean, that's it's hard for me to be altruistic about this because I'm like, what else would I ask myself unless it's questions that pertain exactly to like me and my well-being?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying though. It's just what are things that you're
Things you're
interested
curious
in
about.
knowing? Yeah, just curious. Like for me, first thing to come to mind is how are the Star Wars movies?
Yeah, but
I know it's not important, but
I
I'm just
don't-
saying like this is.
But that's my thing. I don't want to know that. I don't want me because if it's me, I'm gonna be like, they sucked, and then I have to believe me because it's me. It's not like your opinion where I'm like, well, it's just him. I don't trust. Like Kevin's opinion is going to be different because it's Kevin. He's bringing to it everything he does with his own set of circumstances and experiences, and his version of it's going to be totally different. His experiences could be completely different than mine. He's younger than me. He didn't see the original Star Wars film in a movie. Like he is not bringing that same nostalgia. So if he says it sucks, I might see it and go, this is amazing. But if I see it, I'm going to be like, Nick, you hated it, and I'm like, fuck.
Well,
Now
I
I
don't
don't need
see
to go
it.
see it, right?
Well,
That creates a paradox too.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's no paradox. It's just like what's information that you would
What I'm
know.
saying
I'm
is
just saying
there's nothing fun about knowing everything about the future. That's the part.
So
of
your
life
answer
that's
is
fun.
nothing. You would ask
I would
nothing.
probably
Start
unless
shadowboxing.
it were to pertain specifically to me, where I'm like, hey, if you follow this set of instructions,
Okay, so
you'll
your
be
answer is
driving
no,
a
then.
Lambo in 20 years or like 10 years, then I'd probably be like, let's just hang out and get some coffee and
You
fuck
own
with people.
Lambo
But here's
Field?
the interesting thing, Tim, is
Yes,
that
Lambo Fields.
you said like 20 years in advance, right? For instance, just as an example.
I didn't put a time frame.
Oh,
but
okay. I
whatever it
thought
is.
someone said it. Let's say it's 20 years in advance. You can infer a great deal from that. You can infer that you are still alive in 20 years. You can infer what you look like in 20
That's
years.
true.
And so there's certain things that you will know just by looking without even asking any questions. Like you can just somehow verify that this is your future self and be like, well, where are you from? And you're like, well, I'm from 2035. And you're like, okay, so I'm still alive in 2035.
Dope.
And this is what I look like in 20. But like, I would really ask like questions. I'd be like, so who's the president? You know, and you'd get some name of some junior senator from some obscure state probably, or you'd be like, in 20 years, I'd be like, are we on Mars?
Yeah.
You know, like questions like that. I'm like, did we go to where we were in the moon and we on Mars? Like, did we solve the oil crisis? Does California have water? Like all I would be like, I would ask myself a lot of current questions that would be like almost systemic. Like, has anyone fought a war since we've been gone? Has anyone
Is that
detonated
one
a
Iraq
nuclear
still
bomb?
going?
Like,
Awesome.
is there an oil alternative? Did we finally adopt alternate fuel sources? I don't know. I have a lot of pretty curious questions to ask 2035 Colin. You know, that has nothing really to do with my personal gain.
Yeah,
But
I guess
I would also love to ask him questions.
Yeah,
about
would
my
you ask like, do I have kids? Would you ask how many kids do I have?
Yeah, like who did I marry? How many kids? Yeah, it would be curious. But then that creates a paradox.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and
and
that's
that's
the
why the
point.
rules of this are there's no paradox. It's like just you get the information and it ends there.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like, I want that experience of, like, if I were to have children, finding out with my wife the sex of my child for the first time. I wouldn't want me, asshole, 55-year-old Nick, to come back and be like, hey, dude, it was a boy. And then recede into the shadows of my room.
That's what your
last thing that goes into
your
the darkness
future
It's
brother.
the tip of his finger.
That's what Matt Scarpino from the future would do if he came back. To
Yeah,
you
no,
and
Mask.
ruined
No,
something like that for you.
let's be honest. My brother would not wake me up with his voice.
Oh.
He would wake me up by probably putting his ball sack on my face or something crazy like that. I would like to believe that by then, he hasn't done it in years.
It's his
but
future ball sack,
I would like
too.
to believe that by then he would have grown out of that. But when
No
we were
way.
young and living together still, that was how 99% of my drunken, like passing out drunk, well, I would wake up and be like, those better be walnuts. Like, that better be the leftovers of that Costco nut bag that you get, my mom gets every year. You know, with like the 50 different kinds of nuts. You're like, where's this from? What region of Peru is this nut from?
What
Crack.
the fuck?
You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
I think
Alright.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm kind of there.
I'm going off.
kinda there.
I'm tired, guys. I'm up against the wall.
It's okay.
Um,
You're always up against the wall.
Greg,
I
what
feel
about
bad for
you?
My first question was, did I ever get married again? And then I was kind of bored with the situation because, like, I don't know who the president's gonna be. I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I'll know it. And like, does California have water? Spoiler: we have water. In 2035, life's just about how it is now. A little bit more tech.
You could
That's
see
everything.
with catastrophes though, like what just happened in Tibet, for instance. Like things can change on a dime and geographical locations pretty
But
quickly.
they won't.
In 1815, a volcano erupted that affected the entire world's global temperature and caused crops to fail all over the world. Like things there, and it was a catastrophe. A lot of people died. So things like that can happen. I'd just be curious, like. We're in such a volatile world. I'd be like, well, but again, you can infer all the things. So I'm like, you're still alive? Does America still exist?
Exactly. You don't have like scars, and you're not in Mad
I'd be
Max
like-
clothes.
I'd be like, can you show me the money in your wallet? Like, I'd be curious about like all
That's
the
funny.
things, like, you know, like these things, like, do we still use the same money? Like, do you have a wallet?
See, I wouldn't want to ask him if the rest of the movies were good. I'd want him to bring me all the DC movies so I could just watch them right now and not have to wait for all this crap.
That would be
that's-
fascinating.
That's what I was thinking about, going to the future, and then like if you got to the future and like, yeah, there's all the cool future stuff, but just being able to watch all the movies, play all the games that aren't out yet that you've been waiting for, you know, play Uncharted 4, play whatever came after
Yeah.
that, play Patapon 4, whatever the fuck that is.
For me, it's like the spoilers of life, where it's just like when something's revealed for a movie before it comes out, it's so tempting to read about it, you know. And it's just like sometimes you break and you do it, And it's
Yeah,
like,
but then like if he
it's a different
spoils your entire
experience.
life, then and you can't ever change it, then you're gonna live the next 30 years knowing everything that's gonna happen. You know how boring that is. You're like, oh,
It's still
all
not
right.
boring just because you know it's gonna happen doesn't mean it's not.
Sure
cool.
it is. Like,
It's just that I like this question because it forces you to throw away the whole paradox and self gain kind of thing. But I do agree with Nick that it would be hard to play this game without creating a paradox or doing something for self gain. Like, in other words, you would be hard pressed. Like, there are all sorts of paradoxes that are created even from knowing that we went to Mars. You know,
Yeah.
like if I knew that, then how would I not predict it? In other words, how would I force myself if I knew person X was going to be president in 2035? And it's a totally ridiculous thing because he's 25 years old right now, getting stoned in grad school or something like that. How would I not use that? How would I keep my mouth shut?
yeah, you'd have
You know,
to,
there's
Yeah.
something about.
I would have to bet someone and be like, hey, I'll bet you $1,000 right now that this dude's president in 2050.
I don't
The
think
guy's
we've.
like, really?
That's
in
what
the
you're
history-
using it for.
In the history of the Game Over Greggy show, I don't think we've ever had a topic where we talk about the topic more than we talk about the parameters of the topic.
It's true. It's just
that's
it's fascinating because I'm just saying that like you have to just throw away. You have to have a suspension of disbelief basically in playing this particular game.
I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, that's the thing though. I would probably I would want to ask myself a ton of questions about us. Like, am I still together with my wife? Like, are you, did I ever make a film? Would probably be the only thing, like a really big burning question after, am I still together with my wife? Just because I would want to know if that, and that's been a lifelong goal of mine, and always will be. So if I don't achieve that, I'll be like, oh God, I gotta. But then it's like super depressing if he's like, no, and there's nothing you can do. You never achieved like the thing that you've wanted since you were a kid. I'd be like,
Yeah, you'd rather not know that.
I'd
right?
rather not know that. I'd rather like live with the hope that I will one day achieve, like check that off the bucket list. You know?
It's like knowing the age you're gonna die. Remember when I
never
told
wanna know
Remember
that.
when I told you guys that I played Ouija with my friends when I was a kid and it told me I was gonna die when I was 23. And this was when I was like 10. And that was terrifying.
yeah, that's not good.
But I agree. Like, there's got to be some sort of parameter, extra parameter, sub parameter. Like, if I knew we went to Mars, for
Right.
instance, and they're like, "Yeah, we went to Mars," and I'd be like, "So who got us there? Was it SpaceX or NASA?" And they're like, "Well, SpaceX got us there." What's stopping me from investing
invest
all
all
my
your
money
All
in
of it in
SpaceX?
space. Yeah, same with me.
You know what I
I'm
mean? Like that's
Yeah.
I'd want to know. I'd be like, who's the first car company that really hit it big with electric cars? Like, or was it just a slow evolution? If they're like, oh no, there's this great company called Tesla, I'd be like, done. I'm putting all my money in Tesla stock right now. You know?
Yeah. So you have, like, it almost your future self almost has to be like, I'm gonna tell you, but you can't do this. I'm gonna lie to my future self. I don't know if I can lie to myself.
Oh my God, I'd be like this. You can't do it.
I don't want to lie to myself.
There's no way,
That's
because I'd be like,
ridiculous.
there's no problem, and I'd be like, you asshole, you're totally gonna do. I know you. Don't you think I know you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting question. I think that, the question's interesting. The parameters of the question are even more interesting. The manipulation of the questions are even more interesting.
Yes.
I could spend all day on
I
this
could
topic.
too.
But we're out of
I'd be
time.
really fascinated probably by how I looked. That's probably the thing I'd be most fascinated by. But like, do I still look good?
Well, you will be able to see.
Other eye.
Yeah, you're gonna look right at yourself.
You can look.
I'd be like,
yourself.
dude, take your clothes off.
Jesus.
Take them off.
Did it get bigger?
I wanna see
Please
it.
tell me it got bigger.
Because if you,
It can't get any
If
smaller.
I can continue to
Yeah.
lose weight, technically I'm supposed to gain about a half an inch on that bad boy.
Really?
That's all I need.
Yeah, they say. Well, not anymore, but like they say, yeah, obese people, you gain inches on the old man tool because your fat in that area depletes.
Oh, interesting. The
So
old
you'll
mantle.
actually- yeah.
The old man tool.
Should we put a pin in it now? Maybe this topic's over. I don't know if we're comfortable moving on from it, but we have to do the kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, very candidly for our people out there, kind of funny games. April Patreon exclusive Q&A is going to happen now, and then we'll do topic 4, which I believe is
My topic.
Your topic.
Yeah.
So should we
Let's
end
put a pin
here?
in it.
Yeah, you're all letting Kevin run the show. No big deal.
Kevin's not running the show.
It's
I'm
the
just-
Kevin show.
Kevin's
forgot.
doing a lot of things, but I'm not
I'm
so sure he's
wondering
running
what
the
the
I
show.
hell
said we
Kevin
should
is
just
doing
do the
right
thing
now.
exclusively. Kevin shook his head. Everybody agrees with Kevin now. So yeah.
Well,
it's
can
fine.
we do it? I mean, how
Yeah,
do we do
totally.
it? How do we do it?
Well, it's just all I need is this cable that I said, can you have ready? And then Kevin didn't at all have ready.
I think we should take a break and do
All right.
the Q&A.
Yeah, we should do the Q&A properly, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna cut now, and then we will see you for topic 4, which will be seamless. If you're not actually gonna have any time waiting at all. Bye bye.
There's no time for you. There's no time manipulation
just
for
feel
you.
like-
Nick.
Yes, Greg.
It's your topic.
All right, my
But
topic.
first,
What?
another sponsorship opportunity has been brought to the table by the one and only Tim Gettys. Give me a
Yeah,
pound.
I'm doing
This
good
one
things.
is Squarespace. Now, this is one we're familiar with
We love Squarespace.
Why?
because we made kindoffunny.com on Squarespace.
Kindoffunny.com.
Squarespace.
Just
no.
you
gotta go to
sleep.
bed.
You,
You
just
just
rest.
Squarespace
You just rest.
original.
Rest your eyes.
Yeah.
You use Squarespace.
I
for this.
did. I use Squarespace for it. They tout that it's very easy to use. And
Would you describe it as simple,
I would.
powerful,
Very much so.
beautiful?
Very much so.
Did you know that for only $8 a month, you can get a free domain if you buy Squarespace for the year?
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Did you know that if you go to Squarespace right now, you can start a free trial with no credit card required by simply building your website. You go there. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY, all one word, to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for our show.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. We
So
thank
here's
you.
the
That's
thing.
awesome, yeah.
You guys should go to kindafunny.com and just look at it and see how cool it is. And that's all done in Squarespace.
Yeah,
That was
I mean,
Nick,
it's-
who doesn't have
I
too
don't
much experience
know
with
anything
web
about
stuff.
HTML programming. I know design layout, things like that. I have a kind of understanding of what I like aesthetically.
Yeah.
Squarespace is one of those places where if you need to get your website up fast, like for instance, if you're quitting your job of 9 years and Greg Miller says, "Hey, is that website ready yet?" and you're like, "Shit, I got to get that done in like 2 days."
So you'd say you respond. It says responsive design. You'd agree with that?
I would. It's cool. So how Squarespace works is you pick a template, and then you can kind of literally click on things and move them around and put spacers in, and just it's very intuitive. It takes you about I'm not very smart when it comes to web stuff and web tools, but it took me maybe an hour max to figure out, oh, this is kind of all the tools at my disposal. This is how everything works. And then I would start banging out pages. So
Banging out those pages.
and it's cool. And it's if you've got a portfolio site or if you're selling a product, they've got a lot of tools built in there. It's pretty robust. It's pretty awesome.
It helped us. It can help you. Go there. Use the code KINDAFUNNY. One word. Get 10% off your first purchase. Nick, what's your topic?
My topic, of course, comes from the community on Twitter. If you have a topic for this show, tweet at Nick_Scarpino with your topic suggestion, and maybe I'll read it, just like Plotsky Jason. That's his name. Says, GOG topic, hashtag GOG topic. A man in Russia is going to get his head transplanted to
Sounds
another
like
body.
a bad idea. Bad idea.
Thoughts on this and similar procedures? Now, before we proceed, I'm adding an additional topic to this.
You're doing a topic within a topic.
I'm going to add, not a topic within a topic, but as we unpack the criteria of this topic, I'm putting another piece of criteria onto that. I'm also I will give a prize to whoever can make the best lose your head joke.
Okay. I'm
I
caught
like
up.
that.
I'm caught up. All right.
Organically.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, no, I know. No, we're not trying to do it.
Let's think about this for a second. First off, I want to give a shout out to Greg stopping a sneeze, perhaps?
No, that was just Nick inceptioning me and how much he was giving me a headache immediately.
Okay.
I have been snopping sneezes the left and right leg.
Yeah.
Snopping, yeah.
Yeah,
Stopping.
you've been
I messed that up too.
sneezes.
Man, life is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But my question is, what does this mean? Head transplant?
So I have not read the story. Colin, you read the story, did you not?
Yeah, this is
I
all
did.
Phantom Pain
I-
tie, and this is
Talk
very
for
well.
a moment. I'll bring a story up for you.
So basically, on NeoGaf, a bunch of people put together the real story of this guy who wants to do a head transplant. The fact that he looks just like the Doctor in Metal Gear Solid, the Phantom Pain, and people are saying it's one crazy coincidence. But I say no. There's been a ripoff, IP infringement.
So here's the story, and this is from The Independent from 6 days ago by Andrew Griffin. It says, head transplant, man will be attached to new body in under an hour and aim is immortality, doctor says. Surgeon Sergio...
Wait, sorry, what with immortality?
The aim is immortality.
We're fucking...
Surgeon Sergio Canavero, who there's a Metal Gear Solid 5 connection to this, has vowed, and it really is, has vowed to go to China if he is banned from doing it everywhere else, arguing that the transplant has political meaning, and some of the internet claim it might all be a marketing stunt. The Italian doctor who has claimed that he could transplant a man's head onto a donor's body has said that he could do much of the procedure in less than an hour. The procedure, which Canavero has admitted is just the first step towards his ultimate aim of creating immortality, will see a man's head removed and placed on a donor's body. That will see the man's head get cooled. Then that will see the man's head get cooled down, as it is when the doctors operate on some parts of the brain, and switched onto a different body. Doctors will then have a few minutes to attach the blood vessels, and the whole thing will take less than an hour. Canavero said.
Bullshit. God, I guess
After that,
the provide on that one.
After that, the full joining process could take up to 24 hours.
Lying.
Canavero said that it would be carried out by a team of doctors to ensure that none of them got tired, and that doctors and surgeons from around the world had inquired about joining that team. Canavero said that he will explain the procedure in depth at a neurosurgeons conference on June 12th. Quote, I'll prove it is totally possible to all of the skeptics there, end quote. So we'll know more.
All right, so is this some Kojima bullshit?
Well, this isn't. So this is all tied back. You caught up with the whole story about how this doctor looks just like the
Yeah.
doctor in Phantom Pain, like to a T.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's actually like thinking about suing Konami and all this kind of stuff over it because like it is like ridiculous.
That's what Konami needs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better get in while the going's good. It's an interesting story. It doesn't listen. It sounds fantastic and crazy, but the things that we've been doing with technology and medical care and all that kind of stuff doesn't make it sound. It sounds.
It's not headed in the right direction.
Oh.
Fuck. That was good. That was good.
I feel like it's highly improbable, but not impossible. But if it, I mean, I don't know if this. I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, he could be a quack, but I don't think he is. I think he's a pretty legit neuroscientist.
But wait, okay, so
June 12th is the Friday before E3. Just saying.
that is something.
I ain't falling for it, Kojima.
My question here is, so it's if we put my head on Nick's body,
Yeah.
it's me.
Yeah, it would be you.
It would be you.
Oh my fucking god.
It'd be me just because of my
your
of my
brain.
Just
Just
because
No,
of your
no, okay,
brain.
I get that. But
You'd
so
be, like,
this
shorter than-
science, you're telling me then that like you can take my head and stuff, and so all the stuff that makes me is just in my head, and then I can attach it to other
your
organs.
penis is in your body.
entirely, and then I'm just it'll just work. Like that
it's
sounds
Keep
like
in mind,
a little
we
too
can't.
complicated.
Yeah, we can't solve spinal injuries in the same body. That's the thing. That's like a deal breaker for me. Is that you're gonna do this, give somebody else everything, and then they're just gonna be able to walk around no problem. Not
And it's
like
only gonna be an
immediately,
hour.
obviously.
I feel like
that's
the time
the
that
other.
people
bullshit.
show off about
What
it. It's like
but what he's saying is, I mean, to his credit, what he's saying is that the integral like connections that will make this fatal need to be done and will be done in an
Like
hour.
he has to reattach
and
the
then
jugular,
they need
the
a
spine.
They need a
like-
day. He said.
Oh, okay, I follow.
24 full hours to finish
Yeah.
it.
Because
But
I mean,
oh, okay.
so basically, you cut the head off. You got to reattach the blood supply to the brain like immediately, and some way for the body to get oxygen. My question is, who's the donor body, and how does that work? Where you're like,
Car accident.
but like, it's got to be someone that's on life support right now, right?
Oh, that's a good point too.
That person has to be still living.
Presumably, you
otherwise-
have to be. It could be like someone in a vegetative state where they
Right.
kill them. And then the crazier thing is that they then have to decapitate that person.
alive.
In a very specific way. I bet.
I like.
Guillotine.
It sounds crazy, but I just don't know why a doctor. I just
Get him.
it's like a Lego.
to me, I just don't know why a
it's too
doctor
late.
of some repute or some, I shouldn't say repute, a doctor of some fame that he's being invited to speak at a neuroscience convention, there must be on paper maybe so, and again, who the fuck really knows, but there must be some way where like he's figured it out, he thinks. But to Greg's point, there seems to be way more simple things that we can't figure out. And I'm not
Right.
saying that any medicine is simple. I'm just saying that you would think that like correcting spine problems would be
Yeah, like
more
we
easy
haven't
than
solved
decapitating a
paralysis.
body off a vegetative person or a head off a vegetative person and then putting a new head on it. That seems like a pretty complicated
Yeah, I
ordeal.
mean, okay.
It's very
so I'm
Frankensteinish.
very ignorant when it
Little
comes to this, but are we even at a point where it's like you can put someone else's legs on somebody?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually, if people get their arms cut off, they can put them back on and sew them back in. That's easier because it's just muscular, and the bones, if you put them in the right this place, will fuse back together with each other.
Wait.
You can sew all the tendons and stuff back in
Really? That's the thing. Like, why are
I think
there
they can
people
do
with,
that.
like metal arms and stuff then?
because
well, because I think that's. I mean,
This has to happen like as
yeah, like
in
if you
a
lose your
moment.
finger, they can sew it back on. It just has to happen quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like if you like,
Oh.
didn't Bobbitt get his penis cut off?
Yeah, and
Or-
they put
and
it
then
back
they put
on.
it back on. So like and that was in
It's
the
a
90s.
little
So like it's not
disgusting.
It's not a matter. But I think.
Marled
But
shit.
again, I don't know if you could like
upside down.
lose
He's
your
in a point.
legs, and I think that like they're figuring out with prosthetic legs and things that are like made of titanium and all those kinds of things. But theoretically, I suppose unfortunately we have a doctor in the house that we can't really talk to, I guess. But my whole thing is
that's that's a fascinating coincidence.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, he can come to the door and yell in at us.
Yeah, but I don't think we want to go there.
All right.
But yeah, I'm just interested in the viability of all this. But it seems like if you lost a leg, I guess if you were right there and they could do it
Like hot tub time
quickly, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
okay, so is it
you have to be really headstrong to want to do this surgery. See what I did there? No?
It took a second.
Damn it.
Yeah, no.
Get it all out, guys. Come on.
But all right, so right now,
Working out the kinks. An hour and a
if they're
half
going,
into the
if they're
show.
going for the head thing, like with the legs shit, can they cut someone's leg off and then use somebody that's like in a
a different
vegetable
person's
state
legs.
or whatever? And do they do that? That's the thing they do.
That I am
No,
unsure.
Oh, I
that is
don't-
not
I
a
don't
thing
know. I
they
don't-
do. They
doesn't
do
sound
not
right.
use I don't think they use people in vegetable states.
Vegetatives.
Vegetative states.
Man,
I don't-
we are definitely doctors over here.
I don't think they do that because I think it's highly unethical. And you'd actually probably have to sign a release saying.
Well, I
hey,
mean,
use
that's
my
the thing.
leg.
Like,
You're an organ donor.
yeah,
I
you're
mean, they
an-
might. I don't think they do it in this country. We also have a lot of really weird like laws against stuff like that in this country. I feel like Europe's a lot more liberal when it comes
Stay in
to
the
like,
way of these stem cells.
hey, we
forever.
can like fix your back really easily by not fusing it together. You know, they do all sorts of crazy stuff in like Germany. But it's fascinating because, like, to the best of my knowledge, we don't really have. I don't know where the medical profession has progressed as far as paralysis is concerned, and like, you know, if people have severe spinal injuries, you know, you could be completely paralyzed from your neck down. This could be some way of fixing that to some degree, right? Because you're getting sort of an entirely new. But how does that work? You have to get like, how would you even come close to reconnecting all of those delicate connections with the brain?
Yeah, it's
like,
hard. I mean, with all these questions, it's hard to make head or tails about like what is going on in terms of like the guy has a paralyzed body.
Okay. I like that.
And
That's good.
Like presumably the guy who has the head must have a paralyzed body of some sort, or like the thing that I'm crazy about is like why, or that I'm confused about rather, is why we're talking about the vegetative, presumably a person in a vegetative state, right? But we're also ignoring the fact that someone has to get their head cut off of a body that is in some sort of health in order to be put on this body. In other words, there's a risk. We're focusing mostly on the person who is presumably in vegetative state or dead, but we're not talking about the person who's actually risking everything to get their head cut off and put on another body. Like that's actually the weirder part to me, is like why is this happening?
Why is he doing it though?
I don't know.
Again, let's take a step back. This is clearly a gimmick or some sort of joke or some sort of PR stunt. From this point forward, we should just talk about this in very theoretical terms, lest we run the risk of sounding
do
completely
people think
absurd.
that this is actually a thing that's really going to happen? Because to me, this sounds like...
I don't think he's got people lined up. In the article, it isn't like he's got 2 people lined up where he's like, just give me the go-ahead.
Oh,
guillotine.
He has a date?
There's
a date this is happening?
No, it's
No,
a date that
it's
he's going to reveal at a neuroscience conference how he does it.
Right. He's not actually,
So it's not actually happening.
It's all hypothetical. It's all academic.
Right.
But again, like, who knows? I mean, like, all I'm saying is that, you know, not that I am quite a skeptic on a lot of things, and I'm very skeptical of this, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. Could it be some sort of extraordinary miracle? I don't know. I mean, I'm just interested to see what he says. We won't have any more information until June.
I mean, it's crazy. If you read the stuff that they do with stem cells and shit like that, like, who knows? Maybe they can do it. Maybe they're like, we'll just inject him with a little stem cell here, and it'll regrow some spinal column, and I don't know. But I mean, I'm not going to be the guy that tests that theory out. Like, I'll buy I'll watch you buy the Apple Watch, but I'm not trying to get my head cut off. I was gonna say I'm not trying to lose my head, but I think I already made that joke.
God.
They're getting worse. That's the problem.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
who won your award?
You didn't make one yet.
Oh.
Neither of you did, so I guess it's a moot point.
What?
Who didn't? I made one.
You made one.
You made a good one.
Greg hasn't made one
This will
yet.
be the second time this guy gets some head. All right.
Tim won. Tim,
Oh, I got 20 hot
I'm
dogs
buying you
to cook.
Starbucks tomorrow.
Thank you.
That's gonna be your reward.
I'm very excited about the Starbucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring... Wow, you were like... That was like the sexual
Time for
one.
bed.
Yeah.
Each bringing a random topic of conversation for your amusement. If you like that, or Nick's rhythmic slapping. Now, you're getting a lot of ring on the slaps.
You also get a lot of head.
You got to make sure that you connect.
If you like the show, you can get it
the
every
wood.
Friday early. Patreon.com/kindafunny. And then if you don't want to give us any money, no big deal. Go to YouTube.com/kindafunny. Get it broken up topic by topic, day by day on YouTube before we post the entire thing as an MP3 and video. Gentlemen,
Yes.
it was a good show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're all back together.
Me too.
You too, Kev. No problem. Drop some other stuff. I love you, Kevin. Yay, Kevin. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.